look at this as an investment. You're investing in Kyle Tucker. And now all of a sudden you lose him after a year. Then what you paid for it is this incredible price of Cam Smith. Isn't that an even bigger loss as far as an investment? The Cubs and the Sox. Give me expectations where a fan base would be happy about each. What would it be the proper one for the Cubs, and what would the proper one be for the White Sox?
I think Cubs has to be playoffs. I don't know if it has to be NL Central winner, but it has to be playoffs. Would you agree?
I said the exact same thing. That's the lowest level of success, playoffs.
Correct. I can't do another year of 83 wins and being like, oh, they were so close. Oh man, they almost did it. And then the White Sox, 55 wins.
So
I don't know.
We had a debate with Yurko, and there are a lot of people have been responding. We said to Yurko and to Carm, who's a Sox fan, about 60 wins. Has there ever been a team where you said before a year, if they win 60 and 102, it would be successful? And we're all like, yeah, in agreement. Then Yurko piped in. He goes, you can't give them credit for going 60 and 102 no matter how bad they were last year.
But you can, because this is the craziest thing about the White Sox. I think their win total is 53.5 or something.
Yes.
It's something so low, right? If they win 54 games, what would that be? That would be like a 13-game improvement from last year. Any other team wins 13 more games than they did the previous year, they're probably in the playoffs. So I don't know. 13 games is a lot more games to win when you got rid of your best pitcher and you're still rebuilding whatever it is. So I understand what Yurko's saying, but I think most Sox fans are expecting another just tragically god-awful year that 60 wins would be, hey, maybe they're turning the corner a little bit.
It would be a 30% improvement, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
right.
Anybody, especially with how they're built. There's plenty of nuance that has to be attached to this conversation. If this was a team that had a $250 million payroll and they won 50 games or whatever the number is, you'd be like, that's a horrible season. This is a team that's never spent $100 million on a player's contract. This is a team that won 41 games last year. This was the worst team in baseball by a wide margin, historically bad. If somehow they get over 53.5 and close to 60, which would then be a 50% improvement over what they did last year, I don't know how you describe the season as anything other than a positive season.
We were saying that the White Sox year last year was maybe worse than going 0-16 back in the day in the NFL.
Because of the number of games.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And then Bulls. So a lot of Bulls fans are charged up. Is this hope or is it hype?
All right, so I'm conflicted in this because I've watched the last few games. Kobe White has obviously been awesome. Boozless, they nailed the draft pick, which is they deserve credit for that. He's a real dude. They're fun to watch. The way they shoot the three, the pace, they're fun. They're a fun watch right now. But every time I'm like, wow, this is fun to watch. I keep being like, Reinsdorf did it again. He got me again. He's getting me excited for a team that at best is going to maybe win a play-in game. So that's all he wants. He wants the competitive towards the playoffs to get in the playoffs in late March and April, but not actually competing for a championship. You could make the argument they're younger, obviously, that it's different than being in a play-in game with an old core. I get that, and I'm all in on that, but I feel like I keep getting trapped. I feel like I keep getting that carrot dangled in front of me. So I'm going to root for them, but I also understand that unless they do some really big things, it's going to just be the same thing over and over and over.
Yep. And then before we let you go, what about Portnoy on Family Guy? What'd you think?
That was funny. That was very good. Oh, I had one last thing for you guys. Silvy. Cam Smith. Okay. So I've been thinking long and hard about this. Are we rooting for Cam Smith to be good this year? So good that Ricketts has to feel the pressure of I have to re-sign Kyle Tucker? Because that's the only way.
That's interesting.
If Cam Smith is great, but Kyle Tucker is also great, and he signs a long-term deal with the Cubs,
yes,
that's kind of a wash. you could be like, hey, listen, we made a deal for the proven talent. You know, like you take that deal 100 times out of 100. If Cam Smith's great and they don't re-sign Kyle Tucker, it's a disaster. So do we root for Cam Smith to be great so that Ricketts feels the pressure of having to re-sign Kyle Tucker?
You know he's not going – like Cam Smith
But
being great would not –
Maybe.
No, I don't think he would succumb to the pressure and
It would
then
be
sign
so-
Tucker to a monster deal.
It would be so apparent if Cam Smith wins AL Rookie of the Year, which I think he's like plus 450 to do, you have to re-sign Kyle Tucker. So I think I'm weirdly rooting for Cam Smith to be incredible this year just to turn up the heat on Ricketts to be like, dude, if you don't sign Kyle Tucker, you're going to have the fan base absolutely livid.
Well, you should be signing Kyle Tucker
no
to an
matter what.
extension.
But I
regardless.
understand what he's saying. But just
Agreed.
if they lose the deal, or if Cam Smith is great, the return on the investment is nil if you let him go at the end of the
What
year.
if he only hits like 13 home runs as well?
Right.
Tucker.
So that's why I think I'm rooting for Cam Smith, because I don't like, obviously the
It's a great
initial
question.
inclination. Yeah, and the initial knee-jerk reaction is, well, of course I don't want Cam Smith to be good, because that's just going to be painful
Yes.
to watch someone who was in our a prospect for us be good somewhere else. But then I thought about it more, and I was like, no, I think I want him to be great so that Ricketts has no choice but to re-sign Kyle
But
Tucker.
I think that you guys are connecting dots that may not exist, thinking that
I don't know.
that the owner is going to be forced to sign a contract extension he doesn't want to sign just because the guy they traded turned out to have a good rookie season.
But at least you could salvage the deal that way. You could
Right.
salvage the deal by, like, what kind of, he came from where? His dad made all of his money investing, right? Isn't that what Ameritrade does?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Online broker.
if you look at this as an investment, you're investing in Kyle Tucker, and now all of a sudden you lose him after a year. Then what you paid for it is this incredible price of Cam Smith. Isn't that an even bigger loss as far as an investment?
I normally subscribe to common sense. I'm not so sure the billionaire owners, especially the one on the north side, subscribes to common sense on certain fronts. So, in essence, I think the point makes sense. I just wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket.
I'm so low on Ricketts actually spending money, so I feel like Kyle Tucker probably isn't going to be re-signed under normal circumstances. So I just was thinking outside the box and like, these guys still don't like to be embarrassed. And if Cam Smith is insane this year, that will be embarrassing if Kyle Tucker walks in free agency.
And then the worst part would be
I'm just trying to think of which way to get it so that we can keep Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, and like think about, and like this is a low level thing. Think about the kids, but I wanted to get my kids. I'm buying my kids 2 new jerseys this year.
Whoa! You're getting.
about the
You want to get your
kids.
kid? You want to get your kids involved?
Yeah, so I'm getting. So as far as this, like, I'm thinking
that usually gets people fired.
Think
Yeah,
about
where was Silvy last week? That was interesting. Nice alibi.
what happened last.
Keep going.
But anyway, I'm getting a Shota jersey for them and a PCA jersey. And the only reason I'm not getting a Kyle Tucker jersey for them is because I have no clue if he's going to be here after a year. So why would I ever invest in a jersey for how much they cost these days if the guy's gone in a year?
Agreed. Think of the kids.
I
Think about
agree.
the
Can't you
kids. What
turn
about
them
the
in?
children?
Turn it in. They'll
Now,
give you a rebate.
Obviously, the real and I'm thinking. I'm trying to be an optimistic thinker right now, but if we want to do the other side of this and the pessimistic thinker, it's that Cam Smith is great. Ricketts feels no pressure, lets Kyle Tucker walk in free agency, and the only lesson he learns from it is to hold on to prospects forever and never give them up, and we just never have good prospects.
You could spin yourself into the ground any way possible
That's
with this.
another interesting take. That this not only are they not going to spend, but now they're never going to trade another
exactly.
prospect
How
for
about-
an established player again.
How about this is what you hope
Correct.
for? That Kyle Tucker goes out and plays great baseball. You get to the postseason, and they see that it's important going forward, and hopefully he signs him to a long-term extension. How about that?
Yeah. That
works good. That's good.
That's not as fun to talk about. All right, Big Cat, great stuff. Enjoy the
right.
Sweet 16.
See you,
Go
brother.
Duke.
All right, see you guys.